much members of the Fourth Estate for responding to our call today that we are going to hold this press conference to express our views vis-a-vis the arrest of one of us, Hopewell. We are here constituted as one leaders of the 1st July movement, myself as the spokesperson, and Honorable Ngarivhume as the convener. Secondly, we are also here as the ex-Ngarivhume Maximum Prison Political Detainees Association of those people who have been incarcerated and have been at Ngarivhume Maximum Prison for their political views. If Morgan Shankray was alive today, he could have been the patron of that organization. Even if Tavengwa or Lukat Masoko was alive today, they were going to be members of the ex-Ngarivhume Maximum Prison Political Detainees Association. So we are here also to express our personal views concerning the current persecution of citizens of our country who hold different political views to the current regime. I think, as you all understand, one of us who was with us at Ngarivhume Maximum Prison for over a period of 40 days of recent past, Hopewell was arrested yesterday. I've had an opportunity to converse with his legal practitioners, and we are told that he is being charged for contravening section 182 A or B of the code, that is the Criminal Law Codification and Reform Act, specifically saying that he is charged of contempt of court, that in one of his tweets as a journalist, he was in contempt of the court. Why I am saying this charge to you is that we want you to be very clear. He is not being charged for undermining the judiciary, but he is alleged to have been contempt of court. Contempt of court is a criminal offense where somebody is accused of having undermined a judicial officer who would be either presiding over your case or somebody who has a direct interest in your matter. So the facts to the case is obtained from the brief that we obtained is that the tweet was talking about his insinuation that the Chief Justice is interfering with the judiciary in our country. And what really surprised and shocked the majority of us is that the judiciary is one of the institutions of the state. And we all understand that the state is made up of 3 arms of government. One being the executive, the second one being the legislature, and the third one being the judiciary. The judiciary is prone to scrutiny by both practitioners of law and also by citizens on the basis that it is one of those arms of government that is financed through public funding, and also it is one of the most critical sectors of our society as it services the public. So we are outraged and also shocked with the way how the current government has weaponized the law to fight against those people who are calling it to be accountable to the citizens of this country. There is no offense at all for somebody to bring out his or her own views concerning either of the three arms of the state, on the basis that there is a jurisprudence at law that citizens are allowed to hold views about their judiciary to avoid what is called the tyranny of the judiciary, where the judiciary becomes sacrosanct and not prone to scrutiny by either citizens or other arms of government. So we are shocked, and we are in a state of shock that the government would arrest Hopewell on the basis of his views, which he has expressed on the standing of the judiciary at the present moment. Furthermore, I want to add to you, members of the Fourth Estate, that you are members who should be allowed to be practitioners of your profession without interference from the government. Throughout the world, except in authoritarian and tyrannical regimes, would members of the Fourth Estate not be allowed to exercise their profession by bringing out to the citizens what they are meeting on a daily basis? Zimbabwe is one of the countries in the world at the present moment with a very sad record of persecuting members of the press. Hopewell is a member of the press. He is the member of the Fourth Estate. We are expecting every legitimate authority to respect his duty to carry out his profession as determined by the ethics of the profession. So we are scared that if members of the Fourth Estate are now arrested for bringing out their own personal views, this country is going down the drain. So we are here to express our shock and outrage over the weaponization of the law to fight those people who are holding contrary views, who are asking the government to be accountable to the citizens of this country. And it is not criminal for people to hold different views from those that are being held by the government. This is a man who recently was in prison for 45 days. Now he hasn't yet completed 45 days outside the prison. He has expressed himself as a citizen. Again, the state have used the law as a weapon to silence critics of their behavior in our country. So we are in total solidarity with our colleague. We are with him. We are going to stand with him tooth, nail, and claw in the persecution he is currently facing before the regime. He is one man whom I shared the same prison cells with at Chikrubi Maximum Prison. He has immeasurable love for this country. He has no any political ambition. He has no any other issue that he needs but to take government accountable for each and every action that take place in our country. We don't expect a society where civil liberties and civil rights in our country become victim of a government that does not accept itself to be criticized. Fundamental human rights are the cornerstone of every democratic society. Zimbabwe cannot continue on the path of dictatorship and authoritarianism, the way how things are being run in our country at the present moment. We also call upon the United Nations, in terms of Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter, specifically Article 42 and 43, that allows the United Nations Security Council to pass resolutions concerning those states with a humanitarian crisis. Ours is a humanitarian crisis. It involves the breach of international crimes such as abduction, torture, and crimes against humanity.
We are speaking to you as leaders of the 31st protest, which is a civil rights movement, basically fighting for people's rights, civil liberties and civil rights. It's very important for you to understand that. We condemn the arrest of Hopewell. You know, the last time that he was arrested, I was with him. I went through the paces. You know, we witnessed the conditions firsthand at Chikurudi Maximum. Already the crime that he is accused for has been alluded to by my colleague here. But what I want to say is, as citizens in this country, we are fully aware that we need to stand up to fight for citizens' rights. We have been speaking against corruption. And what government in the world would criminalize citizens who speak out against corruption? Recently, the president talked of 3.5 billion that has gone missing, that has gone between the walls from command agriculture. Nothing has been done. And if as citizens we keep quiet, we don't speak out, what happens? Mugabe unearthed 15 billion that was stolen from diamonds in Chiazwa. What has been done about it? Nothing. From NASA, 900 million was stolen. What has happened? Nothing. 60 million was stolen from trucks. A few people were arrested because there was an outcry from citizens. But after the arrest, what has happened? Nothing. They could not even recover 60 million which has been recently stolen. At least it should have been possible to recover 60 million and bring it back into the fiscus. But nothing has been done. Instead, look at the state of our nation. The broken down infrastructure, hospitals completely incapacitated. You know, the education sector in shambles. School children are supposed to have opened, but there are no lessons. What is the situation? And as citizens, when we speak about these things, it's important for the government not to take us to be enemies. These are the causes which Hopewell is championing and fighting for. These are the issues that we as the 31st protests are speaking about as a civil rights movement in this country. We're speaking about these issues because they are coming from the people. Then the payback is you are arrested, you spend 45 days in detention. That is unacceptable. Meanwhile, we know of citizens who get to the airport with 6 kgs of gold and they tell you I've picked the wrong bag. The state does not even oppose bail until the magistrate says, no, you need to oppose bail here. You expose us. Is that the Zimbabwe we want? Zimbabwe is our heritage. Across all citizens. This is not just about, you know, opponents of the government or of the ruling party. These are issues that even people in Zanu-PF should be talking about. People in the MDC, people in the opposition political parties, we are all talking about these issues. And it is important for government to pay attention. So what is it that we need to do going forward? It is important that if we are to deal effectively with the issues of corruption in this country, we have institutions that are independent and capacitated to deal with it. The judiciary is one of such. The police, access to information, the military, everybody. We must make sure that our institutions are independent. Even people in Zanu-PF need independent institutions. Because one day they will not stay in power forever. One day will come a time when somebody else takes over. And they must be accountable. If they allow institutions to be independent, they will benefit from that one day down the line. And we want to advise them that it is important and in the best interest of this nation that we build independent institutions. We deplore the erosion of democracy in Africa. It is unacceptable. We want Zimbabwe to set a good example of democracy, but this is not what we have currently in this country. And so, as the 31st and as leaders of the 31st protest, July 31st protest, we are speaking out and weighing in on the message that our colleague and brother Hopewell has been speaking about. We want to say Hopewell deserves his freedom. Speaking out against corruption should not attract the wrath of the state. It is very important. As citizens, before even SADC comes through or before anyone else comes through, we must as Zimbabweans unite and come together and speak with one voice. We should demonstrate a statement to the government to say, we've had enough. We are citizens, we are Zimbabweans. Not Zanu-PF, not MDC, not Transform Zimbabwe, not the 31st Movement, not Zimbabweans, but we are collectively Zimbabweans and we should come together. So our aim is to make sure that number one, as citizens, let's come together and speak with one voice. Let's build a convergence platform where all citizens can converge and speak against what is happening. Then number two, we want the support of the region. Our colleagues in SADC must speak out. Our fellow compatriots in the region must speak out and condemn what is happening to Zimbabwe. Because if it happens here, it will not end here. If nobody speaks out, it will go to our neighboring countries. It will proffer to the different countries that we have in this region, and that is unacceptable. And we also want Africa to speak out with one voice to condemn what is happening in this country. This is the ethos of nationalism that our founding fathers fought for. And we stand by that. Freedom of expression is a key fundamental to every society. Every society should be able to express themselves like our compatriot Hopewell is doing. That should not attract persecution from the state. That must be very important. And of course, we also call on the international community to weigh in. Zimbabwe does not exist in isolation. The world is becoming a global village. For us to be successfully politically, economically, we need to work with others. You know, there's an African proverb which says, if you want to go quick, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. Zimbabwe should be ready to go far and go with others. This is what we are calling for. So this is what we feel we need to speak out and reach out to you and to the nation, that we condemn what is happening. Zimbabwe needs to take the right path. And this is what will grow and shape us into a better nation and better citizenship as a people. Thank you very much.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.